And the opening question is, what has made you smile recently? And I'll put it in the chat too. And you can use your mic, you can use the chat. It is up to you. So what has made you smile recently? And Nora and I were just having a smile about the State Personal Development Grant, California, knowing people, the networks that we've built over the years. How about you, Eliana?
I'm smiling because I have power back. I'm breathing AC after more than 10 days without, like power. So I can only smile right now. I'm so happy.
Oh, I'm so that you do not appreciate these things until they are gone. Ooh, you have to tell us where, Julia, for your trip.
Jennifer, I'm recognizing people are getting on our Teams hold a date instead of this meeting.
Yeah.
So let me go see if I can resolve that issue while you all.
Okay. Yeah.
Jennifer, I have one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, pumpkin spice everything. Diana, yes. I just got back Friday from Guam. They were having convening for the Pacific entities. And while I was there, I visited a school and I'm going in and out of the classrooms and, experiencing what's going on. And when it was over, we wound up in a big room full of food and principals, and the kids next door were singing "We Are the World." And I was like, this is beautiful.
Oh
It
my
was fabulous.
gosh, wonderful. I forgot you had gone to Guam. I'm so glad.
It was
That is
fabulous.
really neat.
The whole experience. They're doing a lot of creative work there.
Good. Yeah, no, we're lucky that we have some grants with Guam now that we can find out more about them. A flyover State College, Pennsylvania yesterday. Wow. Oh, a silly dog. I also have a silly dog who is hopefully going to be quiet next to me. So I'm so glad you all are there. Hi, Jamie. I'm just going to call out people I know.
Hey, how you doing? Hi, everyone.
Good. Romper room style. Yeah, that's an age joke, right? That's like to tell people how old people are. So I'm really glad that you all are here. And Shoshana, if you wouldn't mind pinning Rebecca, Eliana, Valerie, and Julia and myself so we can do some introductions. So just to give you a little history that you saw in the email that we sent out about this, most likely, is we had a fantastic, oh, Jamie got to be on stage. We had a fantastic panel at the Project Directors Leadership Conference. And so you are seeing, with the exception of Julia, who was behind the scenes, you are seeing 3 of our panelists. Actually, Valerie was our moderator. Rebecca Horonak was a panelist, as was Eliana. And the topic was dissemination at the national level. And we called it Spilling the Tea. And there was a longer name. I'm not going to remember the rest of it. But it had a great response, both in the session and then after, for those who saw the recording. In the session, we heard that folks were interested in the TA&D world in coming together and learning from each other about dissemination. And so Valerie, as the moderator, heard that, was interested, and of course has a perspective on this and a vision for OSEP on dissemination. And so let's get this ball rolling right away, which we did. Rebecca and Eliana were kind enough to volunteer to be co-facilitators of this group with OSEP, myself and Julia. And that's how we ended up here. So we have Rebecca Hornak from CSEP, State Implementation Scaling Up of Evidence-Based Practice TA Center. I've had a few years of practicing that. Julia Martin-Isle, who is the Technical Assistance and Dissemination Program Lead at OSEP. We have Valerie C. Williams, who is our OSEP Director. And we have Eliana Tardio from the National Center on Systemic Improvement, NCSI. So each person's going to have a chance to talk to you. I will not be talking with you much after this, but I wanted to make sure you know who's here today and why they're here and why you're here. With that, I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Valerie so she can share, she can formally welcome you and also share her vision on dissemination, which is, you know, she had prior to the panel and certainly has seeded that vision and moved her even further in a certain direction. So Valerie, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. First of all, I do want to welcome everyone who is here today and thank you for coming and for prioritizing this. information dissemination is key to our work. It is critical. It's not necessarily the most glamorous or sexy thing, but it's critical, because if we don't disseminate the information properly, then what's the point of us coming up with the resources and all the time and energy that we put into them? I'm of the mindset that there are a lot of people working at all levels of education right now that were not there 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago. And so they're not fully aware of how to always do their jobs, or how to problem solve if something comes up. They're not necessarily sure where to turn. And so, and it's interesting, because some of these people, they have no idea what IDEA is, why it was implemented, have no knowledge of the fact that prior to IDEA, kids with disabilities were either in institutions or they were home with their parents. And that's it, not even literally allowed in the physical school building, much less access to the curriculum. And so, we've come a long way. All of these resources have been created by all the fabulous TA centers. There is literally something for everyone. Whether you're talking about dispute resolution, or something for parents, or something for administrators or teachers or hearing officers, or whoever it happens to be. There is literally something for everything. So there's no reason for anyone to reinvent the wheel. That being said, if the people who need the information don't know that it is available, then we have all missed the mark. Because if that's the case, we are screaming into the void and no one's listening. So on top of that, in addition to having resources that people don't always know where they are, there's an overwhelming amount of communication right now. And so just thinking about how do we create and package our communications that people will, one, want to engage, and that people will know they are available. And even if they don't need them at that very moment, they will know, have a general idea of where they are and be able to go back to them at a later date. So I've teased the staff repeatedly since I came in December that, we put out all this guidance, and no one has time to read documents that are 1,000 pages long, that you need a law degree to get through. And I threaten them, I'm going to make you start doing TikTok videos. And they laugh at me, but then I can see the wheels turning like, is she serious? Is she really going to make us start doing TikTok videos? And it has crossed my mind, but we have not done that yet. So I think we need to make sure that our information is getting to the people it needs to get to. It is digestible, it is accessible, and that it's timely. And so what does it look like when we do that properly? And so after the leadership conference, I realized, there's a lot of energy around doing this and doing it properly, because this is a whole separate game from creating the resources for the intended audiences. How do we push that out and make sure it gets to where we want it to go, which is equally as important as creating the resources, if not more important. So, are we using, how are we using, or should we be using, say, for example, storytelling, case studies? How are we making sure everything is as succinct as possible, accessible, digestible? Are we using videos? I think we're probably using more videos since the pandemic than we've ever used before, but videos are great because it can drive up your audience by 300%, and it allows for transcription, right? Are we thinking about who our primary audience is and where do they live when it comes to communication? So what platforms are they on? What are they looking at? What times of the day or night are they on it? Checking in with them to see what is working. So a continuous feedback loop, not throwing it out there into the ether, crossing our fingers and hoping that it gets to the right people, because hope, I think we're all clear, is not a good strategy, right? So we need to make sure that what we're doing is actually working for them. And how can we amplify each other's voices? If someone is doing something well, we need to clap for our friends, right? We heard that, we learned that, and I love that saying because I love clapping for all my friends because they're all doing fabulous work. And so we need to amplify each other's efforts because we all have audiences that on some level are somewhat different. So if someone is doing something great in a certain space, we should all be sharing that and kind of dovetailing off of each other. we need to be able to look at analytics because almost everything comes back to data, right? Without data, all we're doing is espousing our opinion. So look at the data and analytics to figure out and help point us in the right direction so that we can improve all of our communications. And just thinking about what in your mind does success look like? And how will you know when you've reached that? Right. And so what I think I'm asking is for all of us to be more mindful and more intentional and pay as much attention to our dissemination as we do to the creation of the resources. So that just in a nutshell is why I'm excited, maybe possibly a little too excited about information dissemination, but also the reason why all of you are here, because you're also geeks in this regard and equally as excited about this as I am. So I just wanted to jump on for a little bit and kind of set the stage for what's going to happen from here. I am excited and optimistic that this group is going to create some synergy and come together and create plans that will help you in how you move this work forward and also be able to integrate and play off of each other. So I am very excited. I'm going to step out of the way and let you get to the ladies who are the experts. And I think, Eliana, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you so much, Valerie. I love every word that you just said, because something important about this is to recognize that everything that we are doing is to be sure that people can take advantage of all the amazing things that we are doing as a community for serving families of children with disabilities. Now we want to invite you to be a part of the vision and mission of this group. We have been talking a lot about how to make this happen, but we want to get your input. For that, we are going to invite you to participate through the Mentimeter. This is the first time that I'm using it, so don't be scared if you haven't heard about this. You can click on the link below, and you're going to be able to go to the page, and we are going to have 2 questions for you. Also, for the people that don't have access to clicking because they are calling, you can actually go to menti.com. That is going to be MENTI.com. And I think we are going to be able to see the code on the screen. We are sharing the screen right now. But so you get ready as we download the page. The first question that we would like to invite you to answer is, what aha did you take away from the Spilling the Tea presentation or video, if you had the chance to watch it, or from Valerie's remarks about the vision of this group? Is everyone?
And I can share my screen, Jennifer, if you're struggling with it. Are you having? Let's see if we can.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's just
I'll get the question up right now. Hold on, if I can.
And again, I'm going to repeat the question so you have some time to think about this. You're going to have the opportunity to answer in 1 or 2 words only. So this is challenging because we want to start thinking on social media terms and trying to be brief and meaningful. So again, the question is.
Oops, now let's go back to the beginning one. Hold on.
Yeah,
it's going ahead on us. I'm not sure why. Sorry, 1 second. Let's go back.
There you go. Okay, perfect. So the first question, again, you can click on the link at the chat, or you can go to Menti, MENTI.com and use the code 66895741. So the first question is, what aha did you take away from the Spilling the Tea presentation or from Valerie's opening remarks? Again, you're going to have only 25 characters to respond. So I can give you an example of my idea of this. So I was listening to Valerie and I was thinking about maximizing resources. I was thinking about collaboration, evolution, accessibility. That's a great one, right? Accessibility is the door to inclusion. And when we ensure that the resources that we are creating are accessible, then we are opening that door to inclusion when we think about abilities, when we think about different cultures, different languages. So that's a very important one. 80 of people on YouTube, 80% of people are on YouTube. So we are thinking about videos, plain language, helpful, motivated, reach, TikTok, generating interest. Awesome. Multilingual, modality, concise, target audience. Wow, I love this. This is fun, right? Co-developing content with collaboration, engagement, amplification, digestible, community informed, maximizing impact. Okay, that's great.
If you come up with also, if you have other ideas, we're letting you, add
Yeah.
in additional comments. I think you can do up to 3 each if you like.
That's great. Yeah. So don't limit yourself to 25 characters. You can actually choose to do 1 more or 2 more if you want. So again, we are going to be collecting all this information because we want to be sure that we can incorporate your feedback in our vision and mission for this group. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to give you 10 more seconds, and then we are going to move to the next question. Inclusion. Where they live. Timely. State participation. Qualitative data. Excitement. Wonderful. So I think we can go to the next one now.
Okay. Let's see how I can do that. It seemed easy when I tested it. 1 second.
Yeah,
Let me see if I take this.
Nope, go ahead and just,
there you go. And when we talk about inclusion, we talk about different ways to do things, right? The important part is that it works. So the second question is going to be, is there a new action you would like to take in your communications? And we can use the example from Valerie. Is TikTok one of the actions that you would like to take? Coordination, keywords, continuous feedback, tagging, stories, case studies, takeaways, partnership. Be proactive. Community collaboration. Video mini-series. Dive into analytics. How do videos? Try a new platform. Be proactive. Partnership. State voices. Grow followers. Analyzing data. Continuous feedback. Collaborate for campaigns. Repetition. Create accessible videos. Takeaways. Empower the community. Generate interest. Mini videos. Reels. Blog. This is amazing. I'm impressed. Wow. We were talking about this and we were not sure if this is gonna be like easy enough, but look at that. That's amazing. Share partners' content, ongoing, effective, segment communications, identify what's important, repeat dissemination. Okay, this is awesome. Thank you so much for participating. And now I'm gonna invite, I think it is Julia, the next.
Yes, it's me, if you can hear me.
Sound great.
Okay, thanks. I'm working off a hotspot today, so I apologize. If I do come in and out, please let me know. I'm going to share my screen again to show you sort of the next steps in the work and what we want to collaborate with you on. So give me 1 second.
While Julia's working on that, I'll just add that we sent out the agenda as well as these proposed vision, mission, objective, strategies, and actions. Hopefully you received it. If you didn't, please feel free to put your email address in the chat and I will go ahead and send it to you in the background.
So can we see, is everybody seeing the screen that says TA Dissemination Community of Practice Overview?
Yeah, you might make it just a little bit bigger, but yes.
Little bit bigger. Okay, let's go there. How's that, everybody?
Perfect.
So what's great is that Jennifer and I had Rebecca and Eliana collaborate, the four of us together, on proposing some vision mission. As you see, the whole document is proposed objectives, proposed strategies, and then actions. But we really think of this as a community that we want your engagement and involvement in everything that we're proposing. And so we know there are experts out there as well in dissemination who can bring a lot to the table. So after we talk through this a little bit, you'll get an opportunity to go into a breakout and think about what else, maybe we missed something within this overview. But we really wanted to lay out a clear vision, which is increasing and developing dissemination efforts and providing feedback for each other and support on dissemination plans. And the mission was really, we have a lot of bullets under mission, but that is really increasing communication and collaboration, exploring new technologies, engaging each other in analytics and dissemination and analytics and conversations around that. And then also having centers increase the understanding of supporting dissemination. And then a broad mission is that the centers can really maximize each other's resources and maximize their own. And so it's a collaborative effort. And we thought that our objectives were, we really want to decrease duplicative, we want to decrease duplication, obviously, amplify a lot of the efforts that are being done in centers that some folks don't know about and should know about. And then making communications more accessible. We're really thinking a lot about accessibility and equity and equitable accessibility for all of our folks who want these high quality resources that you guys would be disseminating. And then we proposed some strategies, which would be today's kickoff meeting. Valerie providing her vision, and then the group will take on, the big challenge together, and a little bit of the breakout is our first steps. And then the proposed actions are similar to what you've already heard today, which are participants will watch the recording of the dissemination panel, and that we members of the
I think, Julia, we might
CoP
be,
will
Rebecca, how is the
share
sound for you?
content that they're
We're losing her a little bit.
Oh, we're losing
she's
her.
frozen.
trying to disseminate so that they can get feedback. Participants will be considering the
You are back, Julia. Now we can hear you again. Yeah.
Julia, do you want me to take over?
you can, I'm almost done
Okay,
unless you
okay.
guys feel
Sounds good.
like
we
you
can
can't
hear you
hear
now.
me. Okay.
You're back.
What part did you miss? Did you hear the mimosa
Participant.
part?
When you start talking about participants, we'll respond to the vision mission.
Okay, all right, so that one, okay, great. The Vamosa, as we call it. Sounds like a mimosa, but it's a Vamosa. And so we really want your response in the breakouts today and in future communities of practice meetings. We want to be beginning to consider the big challenges that this group may face and want to work on together. And then who should be part of the community of practice, because today most of you are the project directors on a center, and maybe you have either already figured out who does your dissemination work, or you need to figure more closely, think about who's disseminating work for you for your center. And then the final piece is we're gonna, a survey will be sent out after the meeting, and you can provide more feedback on our Vamosa and then share dissemination challenges. And then we want to name our community of practice participants for the future. So knowing that this is where we've started, we know this can, this overview can grow and become stronger because of all your input. Breakouts in which each of you can share your feedback on the Vamosa, but also other ideas you may have. So I'm going to stop sharing this. And I believe we are putting, we're going to have a slide come up that shows you how to use our Padlet. And so you'll see that Rebecca put a Padlet link in, and here is what the Padlet's going to look like when you go into your breakout. And the question is, what would you like this group to work on and accomplish together? It's a big question. Maybe you want to break it down into what do we want to accomplish in year one, but let's think big. And you'll see her doing an example of how you publish, so to speak, you publish your thoughts. And so you go to the little black plus sign at the bottom, you click on that, and it comes up as a little tab for you to say goal 1, and then you can see Rebecca's going to publish relationship building. And then that pops up on your Padlet. We working on the same Padlet, so you'll get to see what other people are thinking in their groups. So now I think we're going to move into the breakouts. Is that right?
That's correct. All right. So you all are going to be in random groups of 4. You'll have a chance to have a conversation, to add information to the Padlet, keeping in mind that you have 1:28. So you have about 12 minutes in your breakout groups till 1:40 Eastern time. And it's just a chance. No, OSEP staff will not be with you. So it's just going to be a chance to talk about what a group like this could accomplish, talk about why you'd want to be part of it, what the purpose could be, and add that to the Padlet. Because when we come back together, Rebecca is going to be leading us through your comments and just summarize it, talk a little bit about what you came up with. And then from there, we're also going to be talking about your communication challenges. So that's not in this group, it's going to be after, but just a little preparation for the next steps. And I am realizing that I didn't get a chance to share with you the overall agenda earlier. And we had thought you had all received it, but quite a few of you are here and did not receive the background information. So I just want to make sure that kind of have an understanding of what we're going to go through today.
And Jennifer, this is Julia. I noticed there was a comment that if we can put the Vamosa document in the chat as well.
Yeah. And I think Shoshana should
maybe when they go into the breakout.
Sure. Shoshana should be able to do that for us. And if not, I can do it for sure. Definitely. I think that's a easier idea than emailing everyone. So thank you, Lisa Fox. All right. So we talked about the panel. Valerie talked about her vision. You heard from Julia just then about what the potential purpose is of this, and the vision, mission, etc. That proposed set or Vamosa that this group, Eliana, Rebecca, Julia, myself created, that we want your feedback. And the way that we're going to get your feedback is in these breakout groups where you're going to have a chance to talk about what the purpose of a dissemination community practice could be, what you would like to accomplish with it. And so those are those 2 questions I put in the chat. And then you're going to use the Padlet to add your feedback to it, both individual and group feedback. And when you come back together, Rebecca is going to be talking a little bit about what's on the Padlet. You'll have a chance to share out if you would like to use your mic at that point. And then you're going to be thinking about your biggest communication challenge and the challenges you'd like to take on as a group next. From there, we'll talk about next steps, Julia and myself. You're going to have an opportunity asynchronously to respond to the VMOSA, vision, mission, objective, strategy, and actions. And you're also going to have a chance to think about who the right members of this community of practice would be from your center. So that's just a little snapshot of what is coming. But right now, Shoshana will be breaking up in groups of 4. And at this point, you'll have exactly 10 minutes to talk about purpose of the community of practice and potential accomplishments.
Fully closed. Everyone is coming back. You can give a shout out to your group and thank your group for the conversation today. And we're going to do a quick review of what you discussed in your breakout group regarding kind of what we want to accomplish as a group together. So a lot, as I was scanning through the Padlet, and we'll make this available as well after the meeting, but what I was noticing was a common theme around digestible information. What are the strategies to make that digestible and accessible, and making sure everybody is sharing the information in a way that works, right? What are the tricks of the trade, and how are we sharing and learning from one another? Consumable information was the one that really kind of stuck out to me in regards to, we do disseminate very dense information, and what are different ways that we are trying to reach our audiences and using different formats and simplify our message, right? There's also a piece in here as I was looking around social media sharing and community application. I really am interested in that. We were just talking about that while you were in your breakout groups, about how can we come together and really share each other's work and promote each other's work and share out within our own community and connect as centers. But a lot of that's relationship building and getting to know what we do, and the work that we do, and the information that we share. So super excited. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to anybody who may want to unmute. If you want to unmute and provide maybe a high level key takeaway from your group's discussion. So I'll use my teacher wait time and give you a few minutes there. No brave souls want to unmic and share their thoughts about what we can do as a group?
This is Peter from Cypher.
Thank you.
Yeah, one thing we discussed was just a survey of all the centers, a simple survey that would just answer, and just information gathering. How many of us do external newsletters and how often? How many have an internal newsletter? How many vignettes or success stories have we written over the past year? How do we house our videos? One thing I picked up from this group in July was video.link, which was a great tip to show videos that are on YouTube without the advertising. Who's using that? So just to start with a simple survey would be wonderful.
Thank you.
And even thinking about that social media directory that we were just, like discussing inside this small group, that will be amazing to know where you are, who you are on social media as an organization, and be sure that everyone follows everyone, because that's the beginning of collaboration to be aware of what is happening and how we can support each other.
All right. Any other thoughts? Anybody else want to unmic and share their conversation from their small group breakout?
So this is Nora Thompson. When I think in things visually, and to me this is like getting ready to clean out the biggest, messiest walk-in closet. and that you don't even know what's in there. So these are all the resources from all of the other centers, and then organizing them in a way so that A, you know what's in there, and B, you can direct it as, come in and use the, do the blue shirt, and how easy it is when you're doing something like a mass reorganization, how easy it is to get very discouraged in the middle of it when it's really messy before it starts to pull back in. And then we also talked about there's the technical piece, which is all of the venues or the tools to get the stuff out, along with the how much each of the centers have developed so much more information over the past few years. And it's impossible to have it like in the olden days, to know the top 3 or 4 things each one of the center did in your own head. So those are sort of the 2 things. So clean our closet out, and figure out how to organize it in a way that somebody could come in and find what they needed.
Nora, I love the analogy, because I always make a big mess as I'm cleaning, right?
And it's really discouraging.
Yes.
And
then
you just
turn
want to
around
shove
and you're
it back in and close the door.
Yes. And I like to compartmentalize. That's kind of
Yes.
how my brain thinks, right? And so I love what you're saying, and how we can build that in together as a team. Because, for example, CISEP, we follow all of the other centers, and I try to navigate that. I try to keep track of everything that's coming out, but there's so much.
No, you
It is
can't.
so
Yeah.
hard. There's a lot.
And adding to that, also that cleaning, it should apply to our minds. It is time to let go of things that we used to believe that they used to work in the past, that was great in the past. It is time to keep moving forward and understand that there is evolution and there is a new way in which we are consuming information and thinking about the future. How are we addressing the needs of the new generations of families? That is so important to understand too, that a part of this reflection is also evolution.
There's shifting platforms, there's shifting information. It's nonstop and can become very overwhelming. So we're hoping that this group can help us organize our closet. I'm going to use that, Nora, as kind of our statement moving forward, if you will, our slogan. One of the things we also want to pull from this group right now, I do want to recognize that we want to do more data collection. We want to collect the information that was described in regards to who's doing newsletters and how often, and who uses what platforms and what successes, and we'll be gathering that information. But we also want to right now gather what are your challenges so that we can ensure that we build those into our conversations to help barrier bust. And so we're going to go ahead and just do another Padlet, but we are not going to get into small groups. So I'm going to put the additional Padlet into the chat for you. And this one in particular is thinking about your center now, thinking about the work that you do and what specific challenges you face around communication and dissemination. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again so everybody can see what's going on. So for example, for CISEP, I put time. Time is to be intentional around our planning, our development and dissemination. It feels like I'm getting pulled to a bunch of different other projects and I've lost my intentionality of where I was in regards to some of my communication work. And so I put that as a challenge. You can add comments, you can agree just by simply selecting a thumbs up, if you will. But let's just take a few minutes and do a waterfall of all the challenges we're facing when it comes to communication. Capacity. Reaching the right audience. That's always tricky. We were just having a conversation about Facebook and whether or not that was our right audience. Like, are we reaching our audience through Facebook still? Oh, the multiple audiences. I feel that one. Absolutely.